Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. It's nice to see you. Thank you for joining me today. And today we're just going to be looking at whether Elvis needs defending. Does Elvis need defending? You know guys, I just can't believe what's going on YouTube. With the Elvis Presley fans. It's all happening on YouTube, guys. Why are fans fighting each other? Why are they at each other's throats over this issue? And the atmosphere has become really toxic. We should be representing like a united front, you know, instead of tearing each other down. There shouldn't be any toxicity or jealousy. There shouldn't be any competition, you know. We're all fighting for Elvis, right? We have the same agenda, right? So, and if at times we don't agree with each other, with each other's views, we should just agree to disagree. That's what I say anyway. And I just feel people love the drama. They love a fight, you know. In today's video, we're tackling this big issue, guys. Does Elvis Presley need defending against the gossip, against the lies and the rumours? What do you think, guys? When it comes to whether Elvis needs defending or not, people are at loggerheads. I would say they're split down the middle. So, before we defend, we need to look at the context in which we're using the word defend, yeah? And the word need. Does Elvis need defending? I, for one, I don't believe Elvis needs defending when it comes to his fame. His fame is secure, guys. Elvis is adored by billions of people. He's sold millions of records. Most fans love the man. They love his talent, his charisma and his personality. They're oblivious to the criticisms. They don't care about the gossip. They just concentrate on Elvis's films, his music. They're not interested about gossip, the character assassination. They're not influenced by it, you know. They still love Elvis. All these years people have been dragging Elvis's name through the mud, okay? And but we still love him because we know that deep down Elvis was a good man. He had a good heart. And before social media, there was no one around defending Elvis. But Elvis survived all these years because people have been criticizing Elvis unfairly. And they've been lying about him for the last 50 odd years, guys. But his fame is untouchable. His popularity has grown exponentially since his death. Despite the fact they are knocking him down, you know. The fact that they've criticized him all these years, yeah, but his popularity, his fame has grown and grown, means Elvis does not need defending because we love him anyway. People can say anything about him, but we still love him. We need to defend his reputation. It's not right for people to paint him in a bad light, okay? But when it comes to his position in history, his fame, his place in history is firm, it's intact, it's rooted. It cannot be unrooted, if you know what I mean. He doesn't need us to defend him. So, from the perspective, from this perspective, he doesn't need defending, guys. We need to defend the truth. We need to protect his legacy. We don't want people thinking he was a bad man and he cheated and he was a pedophile and he had a temper and he was a crazy person, a drug addict. We don't need people to believe that. But Elvis himself doesn't need the protection. That's what I'm trying to say. And people don't understand me when I say this. He doesn't need the protection, but we need to defend him because we love him. We need to defend his reputation because we want to. We don't want people thinking that he was a bad person. That's what we're doing. But does he need it? It's been proved over the years that he doesn't need it at all. We need to defend the truth. We need to protect his legacy. We're fighting against the lies, the false accusations, and the rumours. We're fighting for the truth. We debunk the lies, guys. We seek justice for Elvis because I think defending is the wrong word to use in this situation. Because if we say Elvis needs us, does he need us to defend him? It's like we're saying, oh my God, Elvis cannot survive without us. It's like saying Elvis needs us to survive, for survival. And he doesn't need us. He's proved that he doesn't need us. If we put him in this position as a person that needs defending, right? It's like a court case. In a court case scenario where you have the defense and you have the victim, Elvis would be like the victim or the plaintiff. He would be the victim, not the defense. He doesn't need defending because he hasn't done anything wrong. If you look at it from that angle, yeah, we don't. He doesn't need defending, but we need to debunk the lies. Yeah. And the character assassinations, because we want people to know the truth. We don't want people thinking that Elvis was a scumbag, do we? It's not fair on him. It's immoral. It's unethical for people thinking Elvis, it was something he wasn't. We don't want people thinking he was something he wasn't, do we? And we don't want Elvis having a bad name through lies and twisted stories. We want the truth. We want the truth out, and we need to uphold his reputation as a decent guy, yeah? But Elvis does not need to be defended. He's bigger than life. We can defend him if we want to, but he doesn't need defending when it comes to his popularity, his fame, everything. His fame is secure in the history books. We defend because it's the right thing to do. We defend the truth. We don't defend the man. We want to defend his reputation because we want to. We want to do it because we don't want him having a bad reputation over lies. But he doesn't need it. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, defend Elvis, defend him, defend the lies, bring those other people, name and shame all those people that hurt him, that lied about him, and painted him in a bad light. Name and shame, everybody. The Memphis Mafia, the girlfriends, the ex-wife, all those people that hurt him. Let the truth be told. You know, Elvis's reputation will still be intact, whether we defend him or not, because it's been proved through the years. In the past 40 years, there was no YouTubes, there were no social media groups, there was nothing. You had Priscilla writing her book, you had the Memphis Mafia writing a book, and they told so many lies in their books. But has Elvis's, our love for Elvis, has it crumbled? Have people moved away? Have people forgotten him? No. Even Graceland, even if there was no Graceland, people would still love Elvis. He would still be as popular. And as for Priscilla saying she saved Graceland, what a load of rubbish. Other people It was other people's idea to make Graceland into a museum. She just jumped on the bandwagon, yeah, to be the front person for the estate because she wanted the fame and fortune. Elvis didn't need people like us from social media to defend him. It's actually an insult to Elvis for us to be arrogant enough to think that he needs us to defend him. But for the small minority who are unduly influenced by the lies, we need to defend the truth because it's, as I said before, it's the most ethical, moral and fair thing to do. We fight for his name, and we're fighting for Elvis's family too, the ones who truly love him dearly. Whether we defend Elvis or not, he's not around to see it. He's not around to feel it. But we defend the truth. This man was a good man. He went through tragedies. He was used and abused and lied to. We defend him to give him justice and for the family who really love him. Not the ex-girlfriend, not the ex-wife, and not the family who rubbish his name, okay? That's why I called my face group Justice for Elvis, because Elvis needs justice. Elvis doesn't need us, but we want to give Elvis justice because it's not fair for people to think of him as a bad person. So this is why we debunk the lies. We name and shame the liars. We debunk the lies. Wanting to defend him against lies is something we choose for him, for his reputation. He doesn't need it because people still love him whether we defend him or not. Most people, they're not influenced by the negative things people say about him, you know? They still they will still be fans regardless. I've been considering this question about whether Elvis needs defending, and I think when people on YouTube say he doesn't need defending, they're talking about his fame. And after careful consideration, I would say, absolutely not. He doesn't need defending. He doesn't need us to defend him because no matter what, no matter how bad people trash Elvis, it's not going to make people turn against him. His popularity won't diminish, guys. No matter what people say or do, his legacy will survive despite the criticism. It has survived for 60 years, coming up to 50, 60 years now. He's the best-selling artist in the world, for God's sakes. He is the best-selling artist in the world. Like Donna Presley, on her channel, she says we defend the truth. She doesn't say defending Elvis because we don't need to defend Elvis. Her channel says defend the truth. If you go to her channel, you'll see she's defending the truth because Elvis doesn't need defending, guys. We defend the truth, guys, and to be honest with you, most fans out there, they have a pretty good judge of character. They're a pretty good judge of character, you know. They know people lie. They wouldn't be swayed by other people's opinions. Some are swayed, but most of them, the true fans, they know Elvis Presley was a good man deep down. Yes, he wasn't perfect because we're human. We're not perfect, just like everyone else, you know. So true fans, they wouldn't be swayed by other people's opinions, I don't think. No. The important word here is the word need. He does not need to be defended, but we defend the truth. We choose to defend him against the lies. But should we give Elvis justice for the lies, the bad things people are saying about him, and the bad things people did to him? Yes, we should. Absolutely. We should expose the liars, debunk the lies, to restore Elvis's reputation. Yeah, so in that scenario, yes, we should defend Elvis. Yeah, but he doesn't need the defending. You know, guys, people have been ridiculing Elvis. They've been telling lies about him. since the day he died and before he died. But he's still loved. He's loved more than ever before, and his popularity has grown exponentially since his death. Let's face it, guys. People have been laughing at him, ridiculing him, even before he died. That book written by his bodyguards came out 2 weeks before Elvis died. People read the rubbish that was written about him, but the people's views don't change. This is what people fail to see. People still love Elvis. Elvis is still their hero, no matter what. Priscilla trashed Elvis in her book. The book she wrote back in 1985 or 82, can't remember. It's called Elvis and Me. But everybody loves Elvis, still loves Elvis, regardless of what she writes. So Elvis is so loved. He's loved so much. So no matter what you say about him, it won't alter people's views. Elvis sold millions and billions of records. His place in history is already safe. His place is secure. He had flaws, and that makes him human. It's nice to defend him. Don't get me wrong. Don't get the wrong impression. Of course, we need to defend him, but he doesn't need defending. That's what I'm trying to say to you. We can't tell the world he was the most perfect man, because he had flaws, and that makes him human. And defending Elvis against the flaws isn't necessarily a good thing. People love Elvis even more when they see how human he is, and how authentic he was, and how vulnerable he was, and how raw he was. So that's what people love Elvis even more. When you put Elvis on a pedestal and call him a king, that's not what Elvis wants. Yeah? Yes, Elvis made some bad choices, and he did struggle with his medication, over-medicating himself. But sometimes it's important to admit these difficulties, you know, because we can all learn from them. And it might help other people to see that they are not alone. Criticism, constructive criticism, is healthy. It helps us learn about fame and the pressures of a celebrity lifestyle and everything like that. It's when people criticize Elvis unfairly. That's when we need to defend against the lies. It's when people make up stories about him, or when people misrepresent his character. That's when we should defend Elvis. For instance, when people say he stole black music, I think we should defend him against unfair historical statements like this. Some people are forgetting that Elvis was a bridge between black and white music. He bridged the gap in society between black and white people. And he helped introduce black music to the mainstream audiences. People don't talk about this, do they? They just kind of brush it under the carpet. People criticize Elvis for going out with Priscilla because she was 14 years old. But we must defend against this, because Priscilla and Elvis were just friends when Priscilla was 14. And Priscilla was chaperoned by her parents when she visited Elvis, for the 2 weeks that she visited Elvis. Yes, Priscilla was not left alone with Elvis. There was always people around. You know, lots of 14-year-old fans used to visit Elvis. You can see Elvis in pictures, signing autographs, giving fans hugs. 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 18-year-olds. You know, Priscilla was just a fan, was like any other 14-year-old fan. She didn't sleep with Elvis until she was married. She consummated her marriage on her wedding night, according to Priscilla. But we learned that Priscilla slept with Elvis from Lisa's book when she was 18. But Priscilla insists that Elvis was really decent towards her. Priscilla didn't move into Graceland until she was 18, and when she moved to Graceland, she didn't live with Elvis. She lived with Elvis's father, Vernon, and her stepmother, Dee, in another house within the grounds. Vernon had his own place, his own house, and Priscilla lived with Dee and Vernon. So we need to debunk the lies that Elvis was dating a 14-year-old and being sexually active with a 14-year-old. Rubbish, rubbish, rubbish. Please. Everybody needs to know the truth. Anybody that loves Elvis Presley, they need to know the truth. Anyway, she lived in a separate house on the grounds and occupied by Vernon. Yeah. And Priscilla herself has told everybody how decent, how Elvis respected her purity. Yeah. He respected her so much that he consummated his marriage. He consummated his relationship on his wedding night, according to Priscilla. Read the book, Elvis and Me. Yeah, so even Priscilla says that Elvis was so respectful towards her. He didn't indecently touch her or assault her or anything. Well, in instances where people concentrate on his drug use or his personal, when people concentrate on his drug use or his personal mistakes and they're ignoring the kindness, the generosity, then we should defend Elvis. We should defend in these instances because people are not given a balanced picture of Elvis. Because if people are concentrating on saying how bad Elvis, if people are concentrating on the negative things, we're not seeing the good things that Elvis did in his life. So it's good to balance, find a balance, to get a balanced picture of Elvis. Some people, they don't want us to know the good things. They don't want to have a balanced view of him. We should be celebrating Elvis's contributions and acknowledge his flaws. And sometimes we need to defend Elvis, not just against the lies, but we should defend, uphold the positive contributions Elvis made during his short life. Okay, guys, what was I saying? We should defend the positive things Elvis did in his life. The happiness he brought to millions of people. We should defend the positive contributions. When they minimize people, some people are so hateful and they're so jealous of Elvis, they try to minimize his contributions, and his contributions get brushed over because they don't want the world to know how talented he was. I mean, he combined gospel, R&B and country, blues into a new sound called rock and roll. He influenced so many famous artists. We should celebrate Elvis for being such a cultural trailblazer. And also, what about his deep respect for black musicians? He promoted black music. He gave black musicians the recognition they deserved. And he sang alongside black musicians during the time when segregation was still really strong in the South. It's not Elvis's fault there was racism. It was not Elvis's fault there was segregation. It's not Elvis's fault that white music was recognized more than the black music. It's not Elvis's fault. He didn't do this. He was born into the segregated society. It's not his fault. He was more successful than other black musicians. Okay? It is not his fault. So, we defend him for his kindness, his humanity, his generosity. We defend against the fame, against his struggles, the addiction, because we should see him in a sympathetic way instead of tearing him down for the struggles he endured. In some instances, we have to see the tragic side of this person, see him as a tragic figure, not someone to condemn. We need to defend Elvis against decisions he made back in the 50s and 60s, because these decisions need to be understood within, we need to understand that what was normal back in the 50s and 60s and 70s, it was normal, but it's not normal now. You know, we mustn't judge Elvis by today's standards, okay? We must appreciate his legacy. He stood the test of time. His footprints, they have not been erased after all these years. Some people say that we shouldn't defend Elvis because Elvis doesn't need to be viewed as being perfect. We need to see him as a real person, not just this huge legend. What makes Elvis so famous in the first place, apart from his tremendous talent, is the fact that he was real, a real person. That was part of the appeal, guys. To be seen as a human being instead of this figure, this king figure. If we try to defend everything, if we try to defend everything about Elvis, then it might look like the fans are just covering up issues about Elvis. So guys, over-defending Elvis, over-defending him can backfire, of course. And some people say that Elvis has been turned into this mythological figure, the king, so to speak. And this is overshadowing the contributions made by other musicians. Some people say that defending him too strongly is feeding into this myth of him being a king, instead of promoting a balanced view of history. So what do you think, guys? Are we mythologizing Elvis too much? Is Elvis guilty of cultural appropriation? He didn't steal black music. He was influenced by black musicians, and black musicians were influenced by him. He interpreted the songs from black musicians, but he never copied them. He never stole the music at all, you know? Some people say that Elvis wasn't the pioneer of rock and roll. Black artists like Chuck Berry, Little Richard, and Sister Rosetta, they were producing the sound before Elvis. And everybody's upset with Elvis and saying that Elvis was given the credit because he was white in a segregated industry. But Elvis, he never claimed to be the king. He would say Jesus is the king. It's not his fault that he was crowned the king. And black musicians, they loved Elvis very much, very, very much. They didn't view him as being racist. They loved him. They didn't see him as somebody who was culturally appropriating black music. They didn't see that. So why do other people see it in that way? Why do the fans see it that way when the black musicians loved Elvis to death? Elvis praised black musicians for their musical talents. Elvis didn't steal black music. He simply gave his own interpretation of the songs, just like everyone else did. Nobody was copying from each other. I mean, they say Elvis sang cover songs mainly. And all the other musicians during Elvis's era sang covers too. You know, everybody sang cover songs, even the Beatles. In those days, you didn't write your own songs. People went to songwriters, and Elvis went to the best songwriters and chose the best songs to record, because that's how it was in those days. Everybody had their own writers, and so they didn't write their own songs. Anyway, guys, I've gone way off the beaten track. Way off topic. So, guys, does Elvis need defending? Please let me know in the comments. No, I don't believe he needs defending when it comes to his place in history. His place in history is already safe. But yes, we should defend him when people tell lies and twist the truth. The best thing to do is tell the whole story, the good, the bad, the ugly. Sorry, and on a serious note, the good and the bad, we need to tell the truth. Sometimes I think people, by nature, they love to gossip. They love scandal. Why don't we just enjoy Elvis's music and his films instead of gossiping? Let's face it, his private life is none of our business, really. So, guys, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Because I want so many people to be with Elvis. I want so many people to learn about his music. They would love his music. I want so many more people to join the channel so that they can see. Oh my God. Please let me know whether we need to defend Elvis or not. I'm conducting a poll to see if it's a yes or a no. So please let me know in the comments whether we should defend Elvis and why, and whether we shouldn't defend Elvis and why shouldn't we defend him. Please let me know in the comments. The more people vote, because I'm conducting a poll, the more people vote, the more the accurate the results will be. So please, guys, do vote. And I'm going to love you and leave you now. I get so passionate when I talk about Elvis Presley because I love him. And I hope to see you soon. Do look after yourselves and look after each other. Keep happy, be happy, keep safe. And until we meet again, I'm going to love you and leave you. Love you. Bye for now, Bye for now.